Welcome to today's episode of The Breach Room, where we sit down with the sharpest minds in the cybersecurity industry. Today's episode is powered by Alter Aim. At Alter Aim, we help cybersecurity firms break free from the outdated lead generation methods like relying on referrals and attending endless networking events without increasing your bottom line. Because we feel relying on others to grow your business is just wishful thinking, and instead we have a battle-tested data-driven approach that will help you build relationships with ideal clients. So if you want to see what this would look like for your firm, simply reach on via DM with the word growth. And today we have a very special guest. We have the president of a charitable organization and CEO of a company. And she's not only a woman in tech, but she's also a woman in defense and a leader. Today's guest is Asal Gibson, and she also goes by Vox. Thank you so much for being here. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity
It's
to
an
be
honor.
here. I'm excited to tell you about CyRoot. CyRoot is an IT and cybersecurity company. We've been around for more than a couple of years here in Las Vegas. We recently established CyRoot Academy to help boost the level of IT and education for cybersecurity, technical education here in Las Vegas. So CyRoot Academy is the nonprofit arm of CyRoot. We're very excited about launching. We've been hosting classes in multiple locations to really bring that gap of IT and cybersecurity everywhere, not just here in Vegas, but the idea was born and being raised here in Las Vegas.
I absolutely love it. Vegas is such an amazing city. Myself, I just moved here. And for CyRoot Academy, I know that when we first talked, you mentioned that you help a lot of people that are integrating back into civilian life in the military. Can you talk a little bit more about that and why you decided to give back to the community?
Yeah, so I come from government and military background. I had the honor of deploying with our troops. Believe it or not, I got a lot out of it and it shaped the person I am today. But just coming across the fantastic people I've served with, those people that have taken my classes, either at the university locally here or other universities, I just noticed one common denominator is people don't know where to go to get technical education, and they don't know what certifications to pursue and what would these certifications do for them. Also, funding has always been an issue. So some programs take the GI Bill, other programs don't. They have high tuition. And I wanted to give people a break. I wanted to change that. And I did that because I'm surrounded by talent. I'm surrounded by people in IT and cybersecurity. So I started reaching out to people and asking if they would be willing to volunteer to teach, volunteer their time, which will save our troops a lot of money and their spouses that keep relocating with them every couple of years. That's how CyRoot Academy was born, is really out of a need that I've witnessed myself, either through the communities I served or the classes where I had military veterans and underserved communities. I tell you, one of my best students came from inner cities. He was the brightest student in my class. Couldn't continue on in the program because he couldn't get any more student loans. He couldn't find a co-signer. I remember him telling me that he had his mom and his grandmother co-sign, all got declined. So he unfortunately dropped out of the program. And that just broke my heart. I started making phone calls to see if there's any help I could find for him. Couldn't find any resource to get him financial aid because it was just so specific for certification programs. That shouldn't happen. If you have a person, as smart as willing to do the work, offer them these opportunities. And I'm not talking just about CyRoot Academy. I'm really talking to any education institution out there. Provide the breaks for people when they need it.
That's so incredible. You really live up to the slogan, I believe, like you are the light. Can you tell me a little bit more about how that came about?
That means so much to me. So we are a Christian-based organization. CyRoot Academy has the tagline "Be the Light," which is a verse from Matthew's. So in Matthew Actually, I have it tattooed in my arm so I don't forget. It's 5:14, 16, when Christ talked to his disciples and he said, "You are the light of the world, like
Mm,
a lamp on a hilltop that cannot be hidden." And while I was reading that, I it really touched me as an educator. So Christ was an educator. He had disciples that followed him and learned from him. And I took a minute to think about why did he say that in specific, you are the light, not, hey, you guys are amazing or you're doing really good work. He said something very specific. And the more I dug into that, I learned that he said that because they understood the word, right? They know him and they know the word, they learned from him. So they're going to go out and be the light for others. And they were. All the disciples, you read the Bible and you read Matthew, Mark, and John and Luke, and you read all these fantastic stories and the people that followed him and learned from him and documented the journey. So they were powerful people, and I just loved that. And I thought, hey, in our world, it's the same thing. I got people to volunteer their time, their nights and weekend to share their cybersecurity and technical knowledge with others to get them certified at no cost. So in a way, they are the light for others. So I ended up using it as our tagline.
you're so inspirational. That's remarkable. I'm so curious, what ended up happening to your student? The one that was so great, but like he couldn't get the financial aid needed to continue with his education.
I don't know. He was my student while I taught the program at the university. So we lost touch. I tried to help, but I asked him to create LinkedIn and add me on LinkedIn. He didn't. So I hope he's in a good place. And I hope if he's watching this, he would reach out to me again because he was one of the people that have inspired me to create a program like this. So if you were my student and you felt like you couldn't afford the program or something happened and you want another chance, you want to get those certifications in CompTIA or Cisco project management, please reach out. This is why we created CyRoot Academies for all of you.
That's so incredible. And now that we talked a little bit about CyRoot Academy, can you talk a little bit more about like your role in CyRoot LLC and like what your day to day looks like?
Right. So I started CyRoot LLC when I first moved to Las Vegas, was an IT strategist at the Pentagon. That was my last position before moving to Las Vegas to support my husband with his military career here at Nellis Air Force Base. And I just didn't know what was I going to do for work. I recognized that there is local government and hospitality industry and the competition was pretty high for remote work because that was during COVID. So I didn't have a lot
It
of
was
opportunities. Yeah, I moved to Vegas probably a worse time
COVID. Yeah.
in history. So I started the LLC to start pursuing small short contracts to fill in the gap. So I was pretty lucky to actually get contracts. My first one was covering for someone on maternity leave at Airbnb. Doing risk management. I ended up doing a lot more work there. So that was a great experience for me to learn from. And then I got a contract at MGM doing IT stuff, IT project management. And then I got a contract with Clark County, the school district. And that's when we managed the upgrade of their cybersecurity posture. We upgraded firewalls and multi-factor authentications and implemented lots of good stuff in cybersecurity that boost the security posture for the whole district. So CyRoot has been helpful to me to get these contracts that really put me in a different place in my career because like I said, I came from defense and military. So it was kind of a difficult transition into the civilian sector. But having the LLC helped me do that. And we continue to serve the community for consultation. We offer website design and vulnerability testing and migration. We are also a reseller for big companies like Fortinet and Cisco. So if you wanted to upgrade your firewalls or servers, we have the means to help implement that and manage it as a project for the client.
That's remarkable. I want to be a CEO. I want to start my own company instead of just like continuously finding a new contract with different companies.
So my goal wasn't really to be a CEO. My goal was to have a company that I could provide consultation services through. And you needed to do that for contracting because, see, in a contracting world, you're either coming on a contract as a W 2 on short contracts, which doesn't really make sense, or you could have your own company and provide the consultation through your company where you have an opportunity to write off your expenses, have a home office, write off technology, pursue additional contract. It also allows you to hire people. So if you get a large enough contract that you can't handle by yourself, you could hire an assistant, you could hire a deputy program manager, you could hire other people. So having the LLC really helped me do something beyond what was available to me immediately. But the goal wasn't for me to be a CEO. I do meet quite a bit of students that say that, oh, my goal is to be a CEO. And to be honest, it rubs me. Rubs me off the wrong way because I'm just like, all right, it's CEO, it's something you earn later on in life. It's not just a title. And what it actually means to be a CEO is to run operations, to be a leader, to hire people, to train and mentor those people. You're not a leader until you've made another leader that's going to go out and lead others. So that's what a CEO means to me. And it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. I'm still learning how to be a CEO for my team. I'm learning how to be an effective leader that communicates well, that inspires, that mentors, that takes them to the second or next level in their career of where they want to be.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was reading your post about like expectation management, and that was really insightful. I was like, it really can change the energy of like your team or, your relationship with your friends and loved ones. Would you mind elaborating like how you implement that into your leadership style?
So that came from my friend is a leadership coach. He was a command chief while we were deployed in Pachesa. He goes by Chachi, and uh, he created the whole series. He called it Pachesa 8 at the time, and now we're working together to bring those leadership lessons to CyRoot Academy. But Chachi talked about relationships failing at work and in your personal life because your boss, your colleague, your spouse has a certain expectation from you that you didn't meet. So both parties really at fault. Those who have expectation that didn't communicate to you and you that didn't deliver to their expectation. So learning how to manage the expectation, you'll learn how to manage your expectation of people and also how you respond. And that's something I talk about quite a bit. One example he gave is if you got a text message from your wife and she said, "Hey, you want to go out to dinner tonight?" And you go, "Sure." Well, you may or may not go out to dinner, right? If you just write sure. But if you say, "I'd love to go out to dinner, honey, where do you want to go?" Right? "Oh, tonight sounds perfect. Let's definitely do it." You show some enthusiasm, it's going to change the trajectory of that evening. Your spouse really wanted some excitement to go out for dinner, probably not because you don't have food at home. So you have met that expectation. So that's what expectation management is all about, is how do we respond? And with our team, my team, I drive ownership, right? It doesn't take a business owner to feel the ownership of your work. Every single person is an owner of their own work because it's true, right? We all own the task. Everybody is empowered on my team to make decisions. We run a hybrid model where we have processes, we have people that make decision for the whole organization, but every single person, if you're an instructor, if you're a TA, if you're a consultant on my team, if you're my CTO, whoever you are, you have the power to make decisions within your responsibilities. You don't have to come and ask me for approval for every single thing. You need to buy something that you need, go to my director of operations. We have to take care of our work and our business, and it shouldn't be one single point of approval in the organization, right? So that's what I drive. But a lot of people come from scarred background where they didn't have that kind of power. When I bring people early on, they're chatting with me about every single thing. Can I do this? I need approval on this. And it takes them a minute. If you don't make mistakes, you're not going to learn. So I want you to go out and make mistakes.
I love that. And what kind of businesses do you currently serve? Are you like focused on like small, medium businesses? And what kind of markets are you mainly focused on as your niche?
I mean, we've done big companies, right? Like Airbnb is a huge company. MGM is a huge company. Clark County School District. I mean, that's 360 some schools. I mean, we had over 300,000 students, right? But it's not that that was my focus. These are the opportunities I got, right? I work with small business owners, teaching them government contracting. How do you get registered for government contracting? I work with small business owners to help them create a website, create a commerce site. We've had a coffee shop that suffered a breach that we looked into, because if you have a website that's not secured, you could have someone ordering 300 coffee cups just to mess with you, right? So you gotta have the processes in place to prevent these things from happening. So I personally don't have really a preference. Of course, everybody says they're going after the big fish. I've had my share of big fish. I'm here to solve technology problems, whether you're a 2 people company or a 3,000 people company. To me, it's what can I do for you, and whether CyRoot is a right fit to help you solve the problem at hand.
I think that's why you're such a great CEO. Like you said, CEO is just a title. And a lot of like small, medium business owners don't really feel they could be a target. Like they think they're just gonna go for the big guys, which of course Facebook and all of those big companies. But what about the small, medium like business owner? What would you tell them if they were listening to this?
It's what do you have that attracts people, right? So the more money and the more assets, the more flashy things you have is going to attract the hackers. Because no one is sitting around in Russia targeting really a coffee shop. It's got to be some punk that just want to mess with you, right? So how am I going to put an order for $200 worth of coffee cups just to mess with this coffee shop, where you're going to prep the work and then no one comes to pick it up or pay for it? That's just some punk that would do that. You didn't benefit financially from it. So how do you protect yourself against the punks and the serious hackers? And that takes time. When you go to networking events and you got a company that's doing AI or doing this or consultation or construction, whatever it is you're doing, they hand you their business card and you see a Yahoo email, yahoo.com or Gmail. That's the first thing as a business owner. You haven't thought about how, one, can I present myself professionally and have a domain name and have a website and actually protect the domain name and the website from malicious actors. Then how do I give access to that? How do I share information? You're asking for a contract. Where is that going to get stored? You ask for information about the company or me personally. Maybe we're going to do business where you need a copy of my ID or social security. Where are you going to store this information? These are the things I'm concerned about, that 95% of small startups don't have the answer to. They think they're too small to work on these processes, where in reality, those are the foundations. Get your act together first, right? Let's your environment. Let's present you in a professional matter way. Like let's go build even a small team, maybe contractors. All right, let's build the infrastructure before you go out and ask people for business.
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like as a small, medium business owner, like you for sure need to do a little bit of digging. What major shifts or like trends are you like currently seeing in the industry related to like cybersecurity and AI, or anything that you've noticed that has been emerging?
AI has been emerging for a long time, and I can tell you that from working on a policy side on the government, right? We just didn't call it AI, we called it machine learning. People didn't really talk about as much, but you would have sounded out of space back in 2017 if you said AI, right? But the AI it wasn't just built yesterday, didn't just come out with Chat GPT. We've been automating the process of doing things on the cybersecurity side. It changes every year. The way we've done things just 2, 3 years ago is different than how we do things now, right? When you look at software that scans your whole environment and finds vulnerabilities, where you look at software that looks at your whole server room. Let's say you have 1,000 server, right? Think about places like Switch. Think about a huge data warehouse. Think about how many servers they have. Think about what kind of tracking system they've had in place when they first started to do patch update on those, which happens very frequently comparing to how they do it now. Back when they started, it used to be manual. You had to keep track what server was updated when, and dashboards got built, and now it's all automated. You press a button and you say apply this patch update. My advice to students and people who want to break into the industry is to learn the technology instead of being worried about the mundane tasks that are being taken away by AI, where you feel like, oh, there's no entry level job. Well, you shouldn't be looking at entry level job anyways, right? Go skill up and learn the current technology and serve the community with the knowledge you have. I think AI is a powerful tool in general. It's powerful technology, and we all should learn it and learn how to implement it either in cybersecurity or just everyday tasks.
I think that's really important in business. I feel like, especially, like, you have to leverage the latest technologies, right? But what ways have you been able to leverage AI at CyRoot specifically?
So all the products that we resell through our vendors are pretty much AI powered. So if you're looking for multi-factor authentication, or you're looking to upgrade your firewalls or servers or whatever, all the software we have is AI powered because we work with big companies that stay on top of that, like Cisco and Fortinet and other big names, right? Now, on the operation side, AI helped us expedite a lot of the work that would take a long time. Example, if you're writing an offer or you're writing a contract or you want to read a contract. So you're getting a contract with a client. I don't know if this is really up to date, if this is the right language. Have an AI model read it to find any weakness, where just 3 years ago, I needed a business lawyer to do that. All my contracts had to go through a business lawyer to make sure, hey, am I protected here? Because it's very difficult language to read, pages upon pages of fine line. So AI is good in that sense, where it finds loopholes, it finds vulnerabilities, it finds risk items for my business. So we utilize AI for operational tasks every day and twice on Sunday to make sure that we're staying on top of things and we're keeping our work efficient.
I think that's really important on efficiency. So, in my humble opinion, I feel like AI can help you or your business. What other avenues have you thought about exploring when it comes to these new like softwares and technologies?
So we don't create software, right? We are a reseller of software. The only things we create in-house are websites, e-commerce, and websites vulnerability testing. Yeah. I think the automation of templates, it has been really super helpful, especially for my students, right? So creating templates from scratch was kind of a pain. I remember just a couple of years ago, we had to go on Microsoft Word, find the right template. If you don't have the right template, you got to build it, and things just go out of whack. You can build it in Excel, and then you put it in Word in an image. You can't edit it. I mean, it was a nightmare to create a template on anything. So that problem just went away, and I don't think we thanked AI for it. It's just now you could create any templates without any issues, any PowerPoint presentations, PDFs, really your everyday operational work. And where people are like, oh, I can create that in AI, you really can't, right? Because can AI create a website with simple pages for you? Yes. Talk about building the process. Like, how do I add my classes, have a class registration limit, add financial aid component, discount the classes, discount codes for the website for whoever applies and actually qualifies, and follow up emails and a review functionality to reset passwords without having to call a help desk, e-commerce, what methods of payments, how do you test those, what are the security vulnerabilities with them. That you still need a developer to do and manage for you. So maybe in a couple of years, you could write prompts to say, I needed to create follow up emails without having a lot of work to do. Or you could create a process document. We have a process documents that tell us everything that happens from A to Z as far as student registration and instructor approval process. So let's say I could take this document, upload it into some AI model, and that's going to spin up a whole website for me based on the processes. I don't think that technology exists. I won't be surprised if we get there in a matter of a year or two.
And so what metrics are you like really focused on improving at CyRoot LLC right now?
I'm not a unique business owner that worries about a bad review, right? Like that's my worry is see, when people are happy, they never write reviews. As soon as something goes wrong, that's when they're like, "Oh, where can I write a review? Is it Yelp? Is it Google? Like, where can I go to write a bad review?" And that gives me a little anxiety is a potential of someone getting upset enough to write something because there's a lack of process. So the one thing I continue to improve is response time for the customers. But these are the things as we continue to scale, right? What kind of customer service team should I have? Are these people going to be remote? Should we have this outsourced to a company that provides customer service? Do we have an AI that's been proposed to me a lot, which we implemented on our website on CyRoot.io? So we have an AI model that helps answer your questions, but it's limited, right? So this is the thing that I need to scale is how could we expedite the way we respond that you don't have to call my cell phone directly to get attention? How do I expedite this customer service that someone at least acknowledges that you have reached out and there's an issue and we started to look into it?
And if you had like a magic wand to solve a possible problem that is potentially slowing you down, like what problem would that be and why would you make it go away?
When it comes to technical issues, or I mean, I'm surrounded by problems.
Anything that you've been like, oh, I've been wanting to do this for like quite some time, but I haven't gotten into it yet.
Yeah, the process automation. You have something in your head, has to go on a paper. You have to test it out to make sure it works and test it out technically. So, how does this solution work? And then keep up with the times, right? So, how we do things today is going to change in 6 months. And that's a moving target for me, the processes, both on the consultation side and the education side. And we continue to work on that. So all of my process documents are work in progress. I never finalize anything that is a final version. It's always work in progress. We can always do things better. But that testing does take a long time. That burns the team when you sit around and just test how can a user interact with the product and use it, and then how was that experience for them, and when you change that process, can that change be implemented on a technology side, and how can that be tested? So that's probably the biggest issue I deal with on regular basis that we work on, that is also being solved by AI. It still requires a lot of human interaction.
Yeah, that was honestly the hardest thing for me at the beginning. If you had like one piece of advice that you would like someone to really take home with them in their heart, like what would that be, Box?
Who is that person?
Who is that person?
Yeah, is it a student? Is it a business owner?
Hmm. I mean, anyone who's listening, like, just let it flow.
Take ownership of your work. If you're a student, if you're a young person, if someone grew up without the support of family, if you didn't have good parents that took care of you, if you started your own business and you just don't know where it's going, wherever you're at in life, take charge of your own life. Be the CEO of your own life and take ownership of everything that goes on around you that you could have control over. Ownership is very important, and that's what makes a difference to get you from A to B.
That really makes a difference. You're in charge of your own life, and I really, really will take that home with me. I think that ownership is the one thing that will make you successful in this world, because if you're always pointing fingers, if you're not happy with where you are, it's up to you to make things different.
Go manage your life the way you want to see it go and inspire others. Always help the next guy when you're not a leader until you develop another leader.
Second time you say that's super powerful. Vox, thank you so much for being here today. If people wanted to connect with you, or if people wanted to reach out, like, what would be the most appropriate way of connecting with you?
Yeah, I'm always on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. If anyone would like to send me a message, I'm happy to set up personal time. So if it's a student, also my team is fantastic. So if you want to learn what is it like to be a CTO, or what is it like to actually manage operations at a company, or I'm interested in teaching a class but I never taught, can I connect with an instructor? Whatever it is that you need, use us as a resource. I assure you, I surround myself with like minded people that also make themselves available to answer questions and help the next guy.
That is so incredible. I admire you in so many different ways. And thank you guys so much for listening today. Please reach out to her. I'm going to make sure to add the links in the description and catch you guys next time.